Hello everyone, this is Inma. On my previous tutorial from this series, we learned how to use references to draw different poses. On this tutorial, I'm going to give you some tricks to draw poses without any reference at all on Clip Studio Paint. Let's begin! The first thing you need to know is that a human figure can be simplified into shapes. There are many ways in which you can do this, and each artist feels more comfortable with one type or another. I recommend that you try out different ways of simplifying the body and stick to the one that makes drawing poses easier for you. I use different ways of simplifying a human figure: oval or circle head, stick limbs or cylinder-shaped limbs, a ball to mark the elbows and knees or just a line, etc. One way to learn how to simplify body shapes is to draw a simplified figure on a layer on top of an existing drawing. Mark the parts of the body that can move or bend, like waist or elbows, with lines or circles. I'm using mapping pen, which is my favorite tool to sketch. Once you find a human body scheme you feel comfortable with, try using it to work on different poses. Keep it simple at first. Here is one exercise you can do to loosen up a drawing poses. Start with a blank canvas and fill it with small simplified figures in different poses and angles. Don't worry about faces or about making them perfect, just do this carelessly. Over time, I realized that I am capable of creating more interesting poses when I do something like this, rather than when I try to start working directly on a big illustration. The pressure you feel to get it right when you are working on an illustration doesn't affect you that much when you're just practicing small figures for fun. Also, the fact they are small and you can see the whole figure while you draw helps you keep proportions more easily. Here's a small trick. Draw a cross on the face to determine the angle. The vertical line should mark the center of the face, and the horizontal line should mark the top, center or lower part of the eyes, up to you to decide. Can we use any of these figures on an actual illustration? Of course we can. If there is some you like, just follow these steps. Select it with the lasso. Copy it, paste it into the canvas after hiding the previous layer, and enlarge it using the Scale Rotate function. Now lower the opacity, create a new layer, and start working on a sketch using the schematical pose as guide. I'm going to give you a little trick related to elbows. Sometimes you want to draw the hand on a very specific point, but it's hard to make the arm connect with the shoulder. What you can do is to create a straight line between the wrist and the shoulder using the Straight Line tool, and then another perpendicular straight line at the center of the previous line. Now draw both parts of the arm until they connect at the elbow, which should be at the perpendicular line. Even though this trick doesn't work for all angles, you can use it when you struggle and can't get it right any other way. We've seen how to draw a human figure using simplified shapes, but there is another way. Let's create a new layer and activate the border effect for that layer on the Layer Property palette. By default, the border will be white, but we are going to select black on the color wheel and apply it on the Edge Color option. Now everything we draw will have a black line art on the edge. Try drawing shapes with mapping pen in a big size to get a rough human figure. Because when you erase or add thickness to the drawing, the line art adjusts to it thanks to the border effect. It's very easy to correct volumes using this technique. When there's some element you want to detail, like the hand, just use a darker color to mark that part, since the border effect is only applied to the edges of the whole layer. Let's copy-paste this figure and let's turn it into a more muscular body shape. All you have to do is to fill the parts where muscles should be bigger, and the line art will adjust to that. However, when we want to lower the opacity to use this figure as guide, the border effect will make everything too dark. There are two ways to solve this. One is to right-click on the layer and select the Rasterize function. This will flatten the border effect into the layer so that it's no longer an effect but part of the actual drawing. Now you can lower the opacity and it will look good, but if you try to paint on that layer again, there will be no outline effect anymore. The other way is to create a hue saturation luminosity correction layer on top of the layer with the human figure. We raise luminosity until everything is light enough to work as guide. And then we click on the Clip to Layer Below icon for the correction layer to affect only the layer with the human body. Now we can use it as guide, and if you paint on that layer again, the border effect will still be on. I'm going to propose one last exercise for you. Use the rectangle or circle tools to create different shapes and try to draw a human figure inside that fits the space or follows the shape of it. You can use either the simplifying the human body into shapes technique or the border effect to get an outline technique. And that's it for now. On my next tutorial, we will learn how to add clothes to our character. Stay tuned and see you next time! Bye bye!